And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all you germs, we got the acoustic out today or tonight, I guess. If you follow me on Facebook, you know that I'm drinking that beer, and we'll get some people in here, and I've actually got something to talk about tonight. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Um, let's get this. Sorry, let's get this going here. We are. There it is. Cool. Test one. All right, we're working. All right. So we are sitting at home, as you guys can probably notice. We're like, oh, Steve, you never work. What is your problem? We'll get some people in here and we'll tell you what the problem is. We're down for the count, is what's happening. That is what's happening. I got my Star Wars Mickey Mouse glass here. Cheers. I have a house full of teenagers. The daughter wanted some friends to sleep over. So the lovely wife made breakfast with eggs and waffles. Of course, I didn't have any waffles. I did find some keto bread, so that was cool. Although this beer probably is not keto friendly. The guitar is just to keep my hands busy. We're not going to play any songs, all that stuff. This is not a guitar video. This is a video about my truck. The blues. All right, so let's do some shout outs. We got Daniel Adami, Gary Santar Siri, butchering your name as I usually do. Pale Rider TV, Artie's View Out the Windshield, Dennis Richardsville, Salty Pirate TV, Investing, Trading Stocks. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see that me putting a really long name is a good trend, and you guys are following it. Thank you very much for following my trend. I created it. Me, right? Yeah. Just kidding. Don't get all butt hurt. GNC Family Trucking, Alexander Rocker, Jonathan Wheeler, John Dollahite, good evening. We got Yukon with 3 dots, just to let us know that he's here and watching. Thank you. Yukon, check this guitar out. It is a BC Rich acoustic electric. It is a piece of crap, but it is a novel guitar. It's from the Class X era. Remember the Class X era back in the 80s? Draco. Guess what's premiering tomorrow? Draco. Play some Holy Wars. I wish. I'm in a hotel, truck still in the shop. Salty, I feel ya, and we're going to talk about that. What is premiering tomorrow there, Draco? Beer is definitely keto friendly, is it? Clyde Garland, what's up? Thor and Thunder Trucking, what's up? Ratman Roden, how's it going? That sucks, Salty. Hopefully you can get out of the shop pretty quickly. Lord of Snore, says the Whole. Godzilla vs. Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, the trailer for that tomorrow. I am looking forward to it. As people that know me know that I'm a Godzilla fan. So we have a dilemma. You're like, well, Steve never works, right? Well, because Steve has a Packard engine. If you guys follow me on Facebook, you've probably seen the post of me talking about whether I should get a new truck, whether I should get a used truck, whether I should keep this truck. And so I was open to suggestions, because in order to become a successful person, you have to know how everybody else is successful, right? Now, am I in position to get a new truck right now? Probably not. Maybe. Depends, you know. I would like to be in a better position, but here's what's going on with the truck. So, January has not been a good week for me, and here's why. So I did a load from Springfield to Tulsa that delivered Friday afternoon. I had Joplin to Columbus, Ohio, and that canceled. So Friday afternoon, I'm scrambling for a load, and I booked 2 loads in a row, one for Saturday, one for Sunday. Basically, 2 shorties that would have paid the whole weekend $1,500. Okay, and with less than 200 miles, so good rate, right? Well, at the last minute, right before the load boards close, it was done. Those loads canceled. Friday, the weather was kind of rough, so I just stayed at the truck stop. Saturday morning, I poked around a little bit, just went home. Monday, I booked a load. It was Joplin to Fulton, Missouri. Did that real quick. That was a straight through delivery for, I think it was like $850. Not bad. On that trip, my mill light comes on, my check engine light comes on. And so, with me having administrative power at my ELD, I can look and see what that said. And the code was, now this is where, these trucks get weird, right? The code was this. It was, it might not be on here. Oh yeah, it's in my gallery here. The code was after treatment 1 outlet knocks abnormal. No, that's not it. That's a different one. Oh, here it goes. After treatment 1 SCR conversion efficiency FMI 18 count 1. I noticed a little bit of white residue coming out the exhaust, like DF fluid. I noticed my fuel mileage has gone down and my truck was having trouble regenning. So, guess what? I decided that instead of risking taking a load, especially with a lot of loads I do is beverages, right? It's beverage loads. And the beverage loads, you don't want the freeze, right? If you're doing straight through deliveries or if it's going to get down to 31, not a big deal. But if the truck breaks down, the trailer sits for 3 days, that's a problem. So I took it back to MHC in Springfield. So I get it turned in Tuesday afternoon. They said we could probably get to it Thursday, but things are kind of crazy, so don't get your hopes up. And they also know that I live there. I've got a pretty good relationship with the shop. They've knocked bills down $2,000 for me. So I have a good reputation or a relationship with the shop, which is important for those of you looking about buying a truck. And we'll get into that, some truck buying tips, because this is an important part of that. So I have no qualms taking it to Kenworth. The only issue that I've ever had with them is that it takes forever at times. When I look at my notebook and how I've ran in the past year, there were many times where I was gone down a week for something that took maybe 2 days to repair. And that's becoming a problem because I have not run enough in January. And with the rates kind of coming down a little bit, and in February getting ready to be in full swing, that's not a good place to be. Not to mention that I depleted some of my resources paying off the truck early. So at least I got no payment, right? So everything all right?
Yeah, I'm just staying out of the way.
Oh, okay.
They're rinsing plates and stuff.
Okay. So I took the truck in the shop. They said they'd get it on Thursday. Well, Thursday rolls around. I'm looking at the ELD. The truck hasn't moved. And I call them up. Yeah, we might be able to get him Friday. So now we're playing that game. And I called them today. And they're like, yeah, we might get it in Sunday. And they literally said that they had 80 trucks stacked up. I'm like, well, how's that possible? That lot's not that big. But then I looked at it on satellite and I counted, and if you stack them three high in this one area of the lot, and they really are that full. So I'm like, well, crap. So the biggest killer is downtime. Now, they did plug it in and they said that something about cylinder three was not showing the right fuel pressure. So I don't know if that's a fuel injector issue. Because what a lot of people don't realize is when you have a fuel injector issue, it comes up as a DPF issue in the beginning because the DPF system just stops, right?
Sorry.
That's all right.
The camera. Oh, I don't want to be on the camera either.
You were on the camera. And so the downtime is the killer right here. So luckily our costs are a little bit low. We got a little bit of money in the bank. But if you want to feel worthless as a man, don't work. That's the easiest way to feel worthless as a person. So I put it on Facebook. You know, what do I do? Do I get into another used truck that might have a warranty? Do I get a new truck? And try to be maintenance free for at least, or repair free for at least the first 2 years? Or do I keep plugging away at this truck and hope that the ticking time bomb, in other words, the injectors, turbo, the rears, you know, all in the DPF system don't take the crap on me, because that will be expensive. So that's my dilemma. That's what we're dealing with, right? So let's do some comments here. Let's see. Teresa says, "Hey, Snowlord." Hey, Teresa, how's it going? Good luck, Salty. I'll say a prayer. Yeah, Salty is in a hotel room. That's one of the reasons why I also went home right away, is because I didn't want to be out somewhere, especially if it really is a fuel issue. I didn't want to be out somewhere, because here's the thing with shops, okay? I don't care if it's PACCAR, Detroit, Volvo. The shops are all backed up. People use January, February to do some some maintenance. And sorry for the voices, bunch of teenagers, right? And trucks are breaking down. Cold weather causes things. This is the time that people bring in their trucks for PMs, and let's go and change the airbags, crap like that. There's a lot of warranty work. So all these shops are overrun with warranty work, right? Because no one builds anything to last anymore. And so when you got big fleets like Prime that bring their trucks in somewhere, they get first dibs. The big companies get the first dibs, and the warranty work gets the first dibs. And so a little guy like me that comes in with a 600,000 mile truck, they can give two craps about me, right? And with all the warranty work and the fact that, and this is something that wasn't conveyed well enough on Facebook, but apparently people think that you can take a PACCAR engine anywhere you want. And I've argued that a little bit, that you can't. Because I know people that have tried, and what happens is you can find a shop that can tap into the PACCAR software, but they can't. The best they can do is do a forced regen and turn codes off. It doesn't solve your problems. And that seems to be par for the course, especially around here. I've got Peterbilt and I've got Kenworth here in Springfield, and that's it. I don't have any other place that I could take a PACCAR product to. And so I'm kind of trapped with what Kenworth can do, because I won't deal with Peterbilt dealership here in Springfield. And that's another story for another day. So read some comments here. Just getting new one, says Dennis. I just spent $1,670 on basically PM on mine, mostly stuff that previous owner should have done, but it was $1,300 less than I expected, and I still came home in the green for my Florida trip. Good deal. It would be nice if PACCAR would let go of their software so independent shops could get in the repair game. Clyde, they do, but it's extremely expensive. And even then, they don't. You're right. They don't release 100% of that proprietary information. Because any of you who follow Steve Berger, you Schneider guys probably know who that is. He's talked about the issues he's had with this PACCAR, and he's told me time and time again. He goes into a shop, an independent shop, says, "Yeah, we can do PACCAR," and turns out all they can do is force regens and turn codes off. When I went to Matt's and GAT's, all these software companies that can these electronic things you can buy for your truck that read codes and everything else, they all could do everything, including Volvo, except for PACCAR. So if you buy a PACCAR engine, it's like having a Volvo engine. It's tough to find the right people that can do that. RD says hello. So
Hi, RD.
I'm no longer the executive producer for Pale Riders Friday Night Live Trucking Show, and Snowler was hired and promoted to executive producer. Sweet. I got control, and that's what this is all about. Is there anything like downtime insurance or loss of business insurance? No, John. It's called saving up your money. That's the hard part about being an owner operator. You could have $20,000 in the bank, and it don't mean anything. Most people would love to have $20,000 in the bank, but even if you have warranty work, you still gotta go with downtime. You still gotta, I always suggest people that they have 3 months worth of bills in the bank at all times, just in case that truck goes down. It could be 100% covered by warranty, but hotel room, rental cars, tow trucks, and home time definitely costs money. Pale Rider says nobody was hired, so great to tease me. Thanks, guys. Repairing those things is still cheaper than a payment. Eddie Trotar, it depends. When you combine my truck payments and the repair payments I've done in 2020, it comes to a Schneider finance level truck payment. However, as James Best likes to point out, once you replace the turbo, that's once, right? You should get a few years out of it, right? Same thing with any major repair. So the trick is when you have a paid off truck, and let's say it still costs me another 20 grand this year, that's still better than a new truck payment, but it just depends on how you look at it. Kind of a new lister, but you have good luck with that truck, right? I have had, Sean, that's a good question. I have had good luck with that truck. Knock on wood, that truck has been really good to me. And I know two people that got the same series truck from Prime, or the same, me, a guy named TK, that's over at Schneider, and Steve Berger. And out of all three of us, I think I've had the best luck with my truck. The only major, I can't say the only major. I've had a lot of after treatment issues dealt with. And then, of course, I had the clutch. Just when you think you get ahead, the truck decides, no, you ain't. There's that meme of DiCaprio's character holding the mill light and says, PACCAR, when you get close to paying off your bills, the check engine light comes on. So Draco, maybe I might have some things I got to do, so give me a text or call tomorrow, okay? Evening all from British tanker driver, contracted Schneider book. Awesome. Jody Scott, more KW dealers than Volvo dealers. That's true. Save your maintenance money, says Cascade. Cascade is also dealing with a similar issue with his truck, but at least he's going to be able to get his repaired. What is downtime? Daniel Ladami. Okay, let's see. The whole Cascade. Repairing them over time is always cheaper. The trick is don't look at small sample size. You may need to look at 3 years to see. That's true. I've been down since Tuesday, but only because they are so backed up. Right. So Salty confirms what I've been telling other people. It's not the fact that I had to take the truck to the shop. It's the amount of time it's at the shop, and it's not even in the garage yet because of how every other truck is being repaired right now. And that's the problem with warranty work. All these companies utilize these trucks for the first 3 years of warranty to keep their maintenance costs down, which is a smart idea. However, that means the shops are always backed up. You know, there's no such thing as going in and getting a quick oil change. There's no such thing as that. You know, I'm here. Yes, you've had better luck, TK. Yep, yeah, TK. It's you know, and I feel pretty blessed. You know, and I like my truck. I really do. I knew I was a little bit hesitant with the PACCAR, but you know, I've had trouble with all the engines, right? You know, the only engine I don't have any experience with is Detroit, and so I've got people telling me you need to get a Freightliner. You need to get a Freightliner. Get a 300,000-mile Freightliner with a warranty, and you'll be good. And there's plenty of those good Freightliners in this area because they are ex-Prime trucks. Prime takes good care of their equipment. Ask any Prime driver. Ask any Prime lease driver. I've seen their shop. I know people that work for Prime on the inside, not just drivers, and they hold to a higher standard. And my truck is evidence of that. Sounds like the noise is depleted in the kitchen there.
Yeah, I just was finishing that chapter before.
You can cut across, be no big deal. Truck's paid off, so only use an independent garage and never use a dealer again even if I was on fire. Well, that's the problem, Nomadic. The way PACCARs look, these motor companies, these engine companies are smart. You know, they force you. Again, you can't, like, if I get new shocks or if I get, you know, even transmission work, I can get done anywhere. However, when it comes to the engine and after treatment and the codes, it's pretty much PACCAR, you know. And then the other part is if you're tied to a warranty, you have to go to a PACCAR, right? I'm not tied to any warranty. I believe my rears and transmission warranty is now expired. I mean, the truck's a 2014. Now, the good part is I've only got 667,000 miles on it. But and that's pretty good for 2014. I know how I looked at a 2019 that had 440,000 miles on it. The truck that I showed in the video, the last video I did, that had 400,000 miles on it. So, you know, I bought this truck when it had 380. And for the most part, it's been a pretty good truck. Nothing more. Look, I know people with new trucks that still cost them 12 grand a year. And this truck has never been much more than 12 grand a year, maintenance and repair wise. You know, and that's not including tires. I don't count tires as part of that. That's accounted for separately. Because tires are going to go through regardless of whatever you have. So, PACCAR wouldn't scare me away, says Provost. If you get one, you have to name it Optimus Prime and wrap it accordingly. You know, and Provost knows his engines, right? Provost knows his trucks. He's dealt with truck issues before. He can do a lot of the work himself, or his shop can. But you know, he's driving around a Volvo with a Volvo engine, so that's very proprietary, and that's also a lot of warranty work. No, Sean Fairman, I will not. ProStars are a no-no. If there's one truck that I will avoid, it will be a ProStar. And that's because I've seen many ProStars over at the Landstars bankrupt a lot of drivers. And guitar's out too. And so I'm not a ProStar fan. I've seen too many of them on the side of the road or with the white smoke billowing. And I know two drivers personally that ProStars took them out of the game completely. So mine is Detroit, unfortunately, or fortunately. Okay, cool. I have a 2016 Cascadia, and she has 830,000 now as I run hard. Good deal. Engine and emissions codes can only be looked at with a full diagnosis with the PACCAR. I love my ProStar. Only time my truck's been in the shop is for APU, says Jody. Look, Here's my opinion of trucks, okay? You're going to come across a person that, like you mentioned the word Packard to James Best, he gets triggered, right? And then you got people that will do nothing but Packard. You have people that love us, they're very brand loyal. And here's my deal. They're all set up the same. They're all set up with that system. Let's run them hard until 400,000 miles and trade them in. They're all set up with similar warranties. They're all set up to do the same job. And so there's really not much difference from one brand over another. To me, it depends on your local shop. How easy is it to get repaired? And what's the cost? What's the cost of repair? You know, one truck's oil changes might be $400. Another truck's oil changes might be $600. They all have after treatment issues, all of them. If there's one thing I could do away with in the trucking industry is after treatment. Get rid of that. California screwed us on all of that deal, right? Okay. And so, and I've driven everything but Freightliners. I've had a day cab Freightliner for a minute. And then I had a Freightliner in CDL school. That was in 97, so that don't count because it's nowhere near like the new trucks. They're all the same. We all have the same issues. And I like my Kenworth shop. They usually do a good job. It's just like I caught them at a time that the shop was backed up. And and if you notice when it's colder weather, across the board, the shops are more backed up. Whether you go to TA or to Kenworth or to Volvo or the dude down the corner, because the last truck, okay, so let's talk about the independent shop thing. Everybody's like, well, find an independent shop that you have a relationship with. And here's the problem I have with that. I do have one of those shops. I took my truck into that shop for a power steering issue. And guess what? The truck was in the truck shop for a week. You know why? Because they were backed up. You know why? Because they got a reputation. So everybody else is getting their trucks backed up. So just because you have a good relationship with a good local independent shop doesn't mean that you're not going to sit a week at the shop. I would have rather have paid the higher labor costs to fix that power steering that was done in a day than the lower labor costs and lose the whole week. And so I've made one bad decision after another. I've made I should have just taken it to Kenworth and should have just, and I love my independent shop, but the main reason I went there is because my trailer needed something to do, and they do trailer work as well. And so that's why I took it to them. And, so it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's literally the name of this game. And unfortunately, I didn't take diesel mechanics. Unfortunately, even if I did take diesel mechanics, these trucks cannot be shade treed. Now, there's a 2004 W9 for sale in the area. That's a really nice truck, and I've actually thought about it. It's going for $49,000 because it's got a 2004 cat motor. It was like, well, you're going to get 4 miles to the gallon and blah blah blah. But you know what? The engine's only got 300,000 miles on it. It's been rebuilt. It's been well taken care of, and the cat shop seemed to me would be a lot easier to get through, right? So, but I'm not doing that. Don't worry, I'm not buying a W9. DO, I've got 667,000. Lifetime costs on this Freightliner are still 6 cents a mile. Maintain your truck. What's your stance on deleting? The problem with deleting is now you're extremely limited with the shops. Somebody was telling me about a friend that had a truck that was deleted, a Freightliner that was deleted. They did it wrong. It ended up screwing up the motor, and he's looking at possibly getting a new motor rebuilt because they deleted it wrong. Not to mention that if he wants to get it deleted correctly, it would be another $5,000. So the guy's out 10 grand and still has a messed up engine. And then if you go to sell that truck or trade that truck, not to mention if you get caught. So deleting is not worth it. Deleting is an easy way to avoid versus adapt and overcome. It's about adapting and overcoming. I don't know what your numbers are based on what we do. A truck will cost about $1,000 a week. That's just the truck. Clyde, I say those ProStars had those coming apart engines in them. Let's see. After treatment, EGR can both hit. Yeah, I hate them both. Yeah, me too. Get a mechanic that will moonlight off duty and fix your truck. Eddie, again, when it comes to the engine aft treatment stuff, those mechanics only have that software inside the shop. Like those of you who don't have a PACCAR, you don't understand. You Volvo people probably understand a little bit, but you don't realize that PACCAR you can't just take into any shop. That's the torment with these trucks, and I would have rather had the Cummins, because here's the deal with the Cummins. Let's say I had the Cummins in the truck. I could have taken it to the Cummins shop that may not be as backed up as the Kenworth or Peterbilt dealerships. It don't matter where you get something worked on, you're going to be down for a few days, not enough mechanics. Right. 3.8, yep. 2004 was a bad year for Cat. Yeah. You would look good in the W9? Yeah, I don't know. Daniel, I'm bigger than snow. I would have room more in my ProStar than you did. 680 I drove. Fuel economy is going to be the real important shortly. Provost, I agree. What Provost is pointing out is that fuel is going up, people. Fuel is going up. It's literally 50 cents higher now than it was this time last year. And it's fixing to go up. There's they killed that pipeline. That's the first thing the president did. He's killed that pipeline. Our energy independence just went out the door with one stroke of a pen. And so look for 2009 level fuel prices. So New Jersey sticks a sniffer in your pipe, others do the same soon. Right. And that's the thing. So deleting is just, to me, it's not a valid problem solver. It just isn't. It just isn't. So, what are you going to do? More likely, I will just keep plugging away, depending on what this problem is. Because here's the beauty of having a paid off truck. And I got a friend of mine that did this. Let's say that truck completely just blows engine sky high. I can buy another truck, fix this one up, the current one, as I'm working the other truck. And then I'll have a second truck once it's fixed up. But I can still keep running. And I think that might be the key. The key is maybe having a second truck, But it's, what are you going to do, right? But I plan, and that's the thing, unless I'm trying to use it for a trade-in, I've got an asset, right? And if I'm not, if I don't need to trade it in, if I got some maintenance money saved up and I can get into another used truck while the other one's getting fixed, that'll work too. And that's the beauty. Nobody owns that truck except for me. So you got to go to bed, John. Got to head off to Michigan. It is snowing like crazy up in. If you're north of 80, your life sucks right now. Before I delete, I just buy a good pre-emission truck. Yes, Clyde, that would be the way to do it. Well, the pipeline isn't going to affect anything. The pipeline isn't finished, so that's not being used now. I'm dropping a video probably tomorrow explaining. Okay, Artie, I look forward to that. Ivan Drago, you must break me. You might be on something with second truck again. Never thought of that, says Sean. That's the way I look at it, as my truck is paid off and a second truck is an option, right? My second truck hasn't moved in 2 years. See, Provost has got a second truck. The problem with, look, here's the deal. If you're a Landstar Schneider owner-operator, most company, you can't just like grab a rental. Now I do know somebody that has a Schneider finance truck that is using a loaner truck because of his truck being in the shop for a major repair. But because the ELD and the insurance and everything, you can't just switch back and forth. I'm assuming that's an assumption. I'm not an expert. At Landstar and Schneider, you're not allowed to use a rental. Like, you can't just rent a truck for a day to finish that load. I don't think we can either. And I think a lot of that's because of the ELD and the insurance. So if I have a breakdown and I'm under a load, either someone's got to come rescue that load or I got to hire somebody to finish that load for me. I can't just rent a truck. Now, if one has their own authority, that could be a different story. But James Best was down for a week in Georgia, right before he went and got his own authority. And there was a tow company. What a lot of people don't realize is there are towing companies that actually have just regular regular cab tractors, and they could deliver your load for you. That's actually an option. That costs money, because what a lot of people don't realize is if like you break down in Arkansas and you're loaded, guess what? You got to have the tow truck on the tractor, and then you got to have another truck come and get the trailer. So think about how much that costs. Now, John asked about insurance for downtime. There's no such thing, but you can get some insurance policies with a tow option to cover towing, which if I was to ever get my own numbers, that's exactly what would be a selling point for me, is towing. Because that could be $2,000 to $4,000 in and of itself. 667,000. I think I would keep her paid off truck. Get through this stretch, you'll have better times ahead. Plus, if you need some time off, you can just park it. It's not snowing today, but come Monday night it will be. And I kind of agree with you, Dio. I mean, like I said, I hate shopping. I hate buying a truck. I hate the BS that's involved with it. So I have an oil state. I leave in an oil state that pipeline goes through, and it will kill expansion of the fields. The state produces more than it can ship out now, and we need that pipeline to increase shipping volume. Nomadic, I appreciate that. The second truck was one of our only options, especially on a one-income family. However, I am enjoying learning what I need to do to get through the second running soon. And and you and Chucky did that correctly. I believe that you did. I believe with the decision you guys have made. I was out your way a couple weeks ago at Kraft. Oh, Clyde, you were like literally next to my house. $500 plus a year for towing insurance. Yeah. And dude, that's well worth it. Don't you think that's worth it, Cascade? I had the tow truck tow my truck to the receiver to deliver my load before towing it to the shop. That's one way to do it. There was a time where I think it was when I was company driver. I broke down in the dock, and the yard guy moved the trailer off to where they keep their empty trailers. I put a lock on it and got the truck in the shop. But anyways, that's the dilemma I've got. 99.9% I'm going to keep the truck. Okay. Because I'm hoping to get one more year out of it before I need anything major. The trick is getting a new truck with a used truck payment, right? My shop has been good, but this week they're having a bad week. But even if it needs a cylinder kit, hell, it's cheaper than a paint. That is true, Clyde. That is true. But anyways, that's what's going on with me. I'm not lazy. I wanted to run full balls in January, and that just has not happened. So, does MHC do roadside service? Just curious. Yes. But anyways, that's it. We've been at this for what? 41 minutes? If you guys got any questions, comments, or concerns? Like, and the other thing, look, if I hated my truck, I'd be like, let's get rid of it, right? But I'm also fearful of another 300,000 mile truck. And I'm also fearful of a new truck. I've seen a lot of new trucks on tow truck. The only truck that has ever put me on a tow truck had 9,000 miles on it. So there's that. And do you know why? Because it was a DPF issue. So the only reason I would suggest getting rid of the truck is because of the engine. Maybe you can sell it and get an equivalent with a Cummins. I've thought about that, RD. That's actually a good idea. I've thought about that. Here's what happened. I had, and this is why I'm kind of in this predicament. So I'm going to thank Schneider for this predicament. When I decided to get rid of my Peterbilt that had a Cummins in it, I went to Kenworth because I wanted the 680. That's the truck I wanted. And because Schneider had you have to have the collision mitigation crap to, at that time they had mandated, then they lifted that mandate. I think they reinserted the mandate. They can't make up their minds. I think they make up their minds when, they lose 20,000 drivers to taking their trucks elsewhere. So they lift that mandate. Regardless, I was told that if I updated my truck, it had to have the collision mitigation if I wanted to stay with Schneider. And so a choice of 300 trucks now went down to 3. There was a brand new white T680, 12-speed automatic, bare bones truck. I think my payments would have been about $2,400 a month. Had a PACCAR engine, but it also had the collision mitigation. And then when I decided I wanted to go use, they had 3 available. One was green, one was purple, and I forget what the other one was. And those are the only ones with collision mitigation systems, and they were X-Prime trucks. Had I not had to worry about the collision mitigation, I probably could have gotten into a 680 with the Cummins, because my choices literally went down from 500 to 3. Now, I don't mind the collision mitigation system. I really don't. It doesn't bother me. It makes me a little bit more, I don't know, clinchy. When puckery when it comes to winter weather because, you know, if someone slams on the brakes in front of me and I got to slide because my truck decided it wanted to hit the brakes and I didn't, that could be a problem. But other than that, you know, I really don't mind it. I understand Schneider van is losing drivers to Landstar. Yeah, that's fixing to change a little bit, Nomadic, because rates are coming down a little bit, which means Landstar rates are going to come down a little bit. And I would not want to be at Landstar with a Schneider finance truck. Can it be done? Absolutely. But it's going to be harder. You know, there's a lot of, you have a lot of the grass is greener syndrome. Landstar's great if you want to expand beyond the dry man world. If you want to start getting into flatbed or RGN or heavy haul or specialized van, trade show, stuff like that, Landstar is a better place. But if you just want to do generic dry van, let's drop and hook, let's get stuff done, Schneider wins hands down. Do you get to book your own loads or are you dispatched by a dispatcher? Always wondered that. The van side always lose drivers during the strong market. Right. Every time the rates go up, everybody wants to go to the money, right? Which is understandable. Sorry. But a lot of them come back, as Chucky pointed out, when the rates tank. But you know, the way the rates are right now, some are good, some are okay, and some are like, what the hell do you want that done for that for? You know? It's not just about negotiating. A lot of people are like, well, you don't know how to negotiate. Well, if the shipper doesn't want to pay, the shipper doesn't want to pay. Doesn't matter how good of a negotiator you are. Because you might be able to negotiate a good rate, but guess what happens? That load gets... hey, that load canceled. Sorry, sir. The 2 loads that I had canceled over the weekend out of Tulsa were just because somebody undercut that broker and they lost all those loads. And the new broker that had them absolutely would not negotiate. Because I found the broker that got them. And they're like, yeah, it went from $750 a piece to $500 a piece. After my 80%, not worth it. Yeah, they just tell you kick rocks. That's right. You can be the sweetest, sweet-talking, biggest salesman ever. But if the lane don't pay, the lane don't pay. Right? I've been happy with Schneider, says Shanna. We make pretty good money. You do very well. The only reason to go to Landstar is if you're going in some kind of specialized gig. If you're just running general freight, then you aren't going to do very good. See, RD knows what I'm talking about. Look, you Schneider guys that want to, if you're not a Schneider finance guy, you know, you get with a company like Trucking, or, you know, or Advanced, or SRO Logistics. You get with a company like that to, you know, to run the spot market if you want to really increase, you know, get yourself up to 80%. Schneider and Landstar, you're still only making 65% on dry van freight. And Schneider has way more drop and hook. And a bigger trailer pool to pick from. You know, that's just my opinion, though. Run where no one else wants to. Cascade, that's what Cascade does. He runs in them like Alaska type places. I leased on the Schneider January 2017. This is a nice scene with a 16 T680 by May. 17, I had a Volvo and less headache. Never would I recommend Packard Motors. I hear you, FP. I hear you. No. I made my money by running hazmat at Landstar. RD, I did too. That was my gig. That was my gig. Hazmat, light hazmat. Empty totes were the shiznit because they're light. They didn't pay as high as some of the other hazmat loads, but I wasn't like doing 10 miles an hour up the mountains either. So I loved doing hazmat at Landstar. Schneider, I never did one hazmat load at Schneider. And as a matter of fact, I let my hazmat lapse because we can't do it here like trucking. I have no intentions of ever going back to Landstar, so like, why do I need hazmat? And if I ever had to go back to a company job and I needed it, I'd rather deal with that headache then than upkeep a headache that I don't need to deal with now. $7 degrees the other night. Yep, did a lot of empty totes, but I did all the other hazmat stuff too. Yeah, I mean that was me. I was always having hazmat. I can't tell you how many times I'll see, at Landstar we had the in-way side. We were really close to losing our hazmat ability because they were getting so many violations, and I would actually see trucks pass me with Landstar hazmat, and I would find like 3 violations just right off the bat. Just the truck passing me. I was like, man, you're gonna get us all screwed up here. I'm probably 60% on hazmat on bulk. Same with me. When I renewed my license in October, I dropped my hazmat. You don't see too many hazmat loads on the low boards anymore. Anyways, there are a few far between. Right, Eddie, and that's the thing. Most hazmat loads are going to be with carriers that are specialized in them. And so, if I'm a hazmat shipper, I'm going to hire somebody like Landstar Schneider, not some moron picking loads off the low board with C.H. Robinson, like me. We don't want to deal with that, right? Well, let's see. That's why I did the hazmat. I came from tanks, so hauling hazmat doesn't bother me. S&I spoils us with the trailer pool and not changing us for a lot of stuff and tolls. Once you know some lanes, it's easy money. And that's right. I mean, I know somebody that does very well because he's still under the, he still gets his tolls paid. So he has no reason to leave. You, sir, are very conscientious. I try to be. Look, I'm not an expert. And I tell people all the time, stop listening to these YouTubers. Especially me, don't listen to me. But I just tell you guys experiences based off of things that I've experienced. That sounded redundant. That was kind of dumb. See, I'm kind of an idiot. So, you talk to 100 different drivers and ask them which truck's the best truck. They're going to tell you their opinion based off their experiences. Very rarely do you come across someone that's had multiple different styles of trucks and tell you what the best one is. I've had Cummins, I've had Volvo engines, and I've had 2 Packars. The first Packar I was only in a month and a half. And this is my second real full-blown, this is, I've been in this truck 4 years now. And And it's been a good truck for the most part. The only thing that bothers me is the shop time, and I don't think that can be helped regardless of where you go, regardless if you use a mom and pop or not, and regardless of what engine you have. I don't know anything Cascade. I don't know squat. I know the Phrygian scale and E minor. Oh no, that's C minor, C major. Sorry. I'll have to check you out there, Britt. If you would comment on one of my other videos, just like a basic comment, so I can like click on your deal and go to your channel. I'd like to check that out. I get a lot of questions, especially when I was at Schneider, about the Schneider bulk world. I have a harder time saying no to carbs. My trucking mistakes come easy. I hear you, man. I found some keto bread today. It's pretty good. I don't think it's like, if you're clean keto, forget it. There's no such thing as keto products in a clean keto deal. But when I'm at home, it works. There you go, Daniel. Thank you very much. There you go. Look, it could be worse. We've got a guy over here that his truck's been in the shop for a month. And then we got another guy whose truck just broke down yesterday. And then Thor, I think you just had a repair, right? So, I think there's only 2 trucks running out of the whole fleet right now. They're either on home time or they got a problem. Smart car bread at Kroger's is any good? Eddie, I haven't had it. This stuff was. Oh wait, it might be the same stuff. Is it a white label, Eddie? If it's a white label, that's the same stuff. I forgot that the grocery store we got that is a Kroger or Best Choice style owned store. That's about the mileage that my clutch went out there, Cascade. I just realized that. I could probably look at my maintenance records. Repaired, then went home, right? Yeah. This was a full glass before we started there, RD. Jeez. I swear. You guys. This is a really dark lager. But it's cool. It's got like a heavy metal thing. Isn't that cool? Heavy metal is the way to go. I say as I pick a acoustic guitar. Jeff must be pulling his hair out. No, because it doesn't really look. When you run a fleet of, I think we're at 11 now. When you run a fleet of trucks, a lot of people realize not all 12 trucks are going to roll at the same time all the time, right? People have things that happen at home, they have truck breakdowns, they have everything else. And so as a fleet owner, you have to have money in the bank to account for other people's breakdowns, and then if they don't run, it's you lose some profit, but it's not going to break you, I heard a commercial for whiskey. They play Metallica while aging. Yes, Clyde, that actually exists. It's called Blackened. And while it ages, they're playing on this intercom Metallica music, which It's the goofiest thing I've ever heard. But, what are you going to do? Everybody's got, Slayer's got wine. You guys should know I'm a Slayer fan. My Iron Maiden banner's up here. I have a big Iron Maiden banner in the room, just like I do in the truck. Trying to get you to an OG Chavy style 14-hour truck line. RD, that's never gonna happen. I vowed that I would never, ever do that. And besides, I don't think Jeff would take kindly to that. I'm gonna make a drink, little rum and Coke Zero. That's good, Eddie. There's an Iron Maiden cab over at Chad MD Alignment Shop in KC. Oh man, I've seen that truck, Clyde. That's an awesome truck. I was raised on dark beer, but I quit drinking, says Thor. Have I tried the Trooper beer? Yes, Donnie. It's good. They've got 3 kinds now. They got the kind with sake in it. They got the regular, and then they got the Fear of the Dark. Which Fear of the Dark has been kind of hard to find. It's definitely a dark beer, but my favorite is still the standard Trooper. Charlie says, Carolyn Osborne. He recommends me contacting her. I did clean keto and lost 50 pounds. Now I'm having major issues with low sugars. Yes, Carolyn O'Byrne. I think that's who you're trying to think of. Yes, I can hook you up with her, Shauna. You're dirty.
I know, I'm filthy. I should have put my painting clothes on before I started the sanding. I just did once. Sorry.
That's all right.
Am I off camera over here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put my painting clothes on.
Next Jan, what's up? My condolences to your wife and her loss of her father there. Hope you guys are doing okay. Let's see. I got access back in my dad account. Star Alert. I've been gauging the market for when I make my jump after I pay off my truck at the end of April. And I've been seeing some $3 plus mile loads. Yeah, Daniel, there's still some good rates. There's still some good rates in the spot market, But, the important part is surviving the downtime, surviving the lowest rates that you can get. But Next Gen knows all about that tank hazmat stuff. Next Gen, that's funny. Daniel, before you make that jump, you need to have some money in the bank, because you don't know if you're ever gonna, you won't have that umbrella with Schneider Finance anymore. And to be honest with you, they've rescued your butt plenty of times this past year. So I've often heard your name bantered around, but it's very educational listening to you. Nomadic Brit, I appreciate you. I really do. My bloodline comes from the Great Britain. So, Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. Daniel Adami, I'm going to give you the best advice I've ever given anybody. Here it is. Daniel Adami. This is what you need to listen to right here, right now, and anybody else watching this. Find the podcast Hauling Assets. You want to run a true trucking company, that is the podcast to listen to. Cascade, would you not agree? You're a Londoner? I don't know exactly where my roots are. I know that my name is an English-based name. You can see it in my eyes. You can see it in my facial structure. And the only time I've seen my last name is in Great Britain. And I like Celtic music. Does that help? You still rocking the Gumby suit, or have you upgraded to the red suit next gen? Cascade Viking Trucker. What? I just see hair. I've been saving up Snorler. I've been very frugal with my money and not spend it like I used to before. Good deal, Daniel. Good deal. We all learn from our mistakes, right, Daniel? You've been in some pretty dark places, right? You know, here's the thing with YouTubers, okay? We judge certain YouTubers for being failures. We judge, you because you failed, you make mistakes, you failed, you're a loser, And here's the thing. How do you learn a riff on the guitar? By failing at it over and over and over, okay? And everybody has their things that they need to learn. Hold on. Get rid of that noise there. And I've made plenty of mistakes. Still make mistakes. Could I work harder? Absolutely. I need to work harder. Could I be more frugal with my money? Absolutely. Have I made a lot of mistakes in the past with my business? Absolutely. But I learned. The first year when I threw all the receipts in a box and told my accountant good luck, I learned that I needed to be a little bit more organized. So I learned. I was watching my video. I've got a friend of mine trying to get his Missouri IRP. And so I went back to the video I did about that. And it was all over the place. It was I can't even watch it because I'm like 50,000 pounds and like my head's like this big around and my beard's like this short and I look like a dumbass, right? And it was very unfocused, right? And that was me learning the process of doing my IRP. And Jeff had to help me through it. He had to kind of walk me through the form. And I'm very grateful for Jeff and the knowledge he has shared with me. And that's the important part. When you learn from your mistakes and you're non-judgmental, people are willing to help you. And, and that's what it takes. Not being an a-hole and having your friends help you lift you up when you make mistakes. They grab you by the head and they give you the noogie. Oh man, you screwed up, but we'll fix it. That's the kind of friends you need, right? It's kind of distracting. My wife's listening to me in the kitchen there. I could hear it. At this point, I just need to work, right? Prime example of never quitting is 70-40. I've heard that, Clyde. We all make mistakes. Trick is to not make too many in a row, right? Already got the red suite. If you're ever in Richmond Hill, Georgia, hit me up. The TA of the loves. There we go. Next time, we need to go to your house and do some, and I don't want to say it to kill my live feed. Practicing with tools. We need to do that. There's no secret to success. It's all about preparing, hard work, and learning from failure. There you go. If you if you something yourself into a new W9, you're going to have to work a lot harder, right? I'm not buying a new W9. That's not going to happen. Realize a mistake takes a strong person to realize that, and you have a new subscriber because you get it, right? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I've learned a lot about what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. 2020 has been a testament and tribulations to my financial decisions, and now I'm doing good with money, fixing my credit. There you go. And I have you guys to thank. So thank you again. So Daniel, we love you, man. You're kind of irritable sometimes, but you're a good dude. Look, having control. Look, recognizing that you have issues. Not you, Daniel, but all of us, right? That's like I know my weakness is paperwork and organization, right? So I've been solving that. I switched to Trucking Office, which I still recommend. Trucking Pro SA10 if you want to do that. Foglinesoftware.com, but I've switched to Trucking Office because I can do it on the fly. So far, it's been pretty easy to work with. You got to kind of do it a certain way when you're a contractor for a company. But if you have your own authority and you're not using Trucking Office, man, that must be tough. Unless you got a better program, which there probably is. There might be a better program out there. Elvia. Hello, Mrs. Adami, or Ms. Adami, I'm sorry. Hi, Mom. Good now. Doing good at home. Good deal. Anyways, guys, if you don't have any other comments, questions, or concerns, I will get off this live feed because we're not going to do the guitar loud. See, I tell you, my mom shows up Pale Rider TV Trucks live feed and the Snorloads live feeds, but never to mine when I go live. Daniel, do you even go live? I think I'm still subscribed to you. Life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, but marathons are hard, really. Thor, you just said it all. That's really what it is. I know plenty of people that sprinted that are nowhere right now. And I know plenty of people that have done marathons that are doing just fine. And there's always room for improvement. Now it's kind of a reputation that I have that I don't like to go beyond my box. But in some ways that's true. Some ways it's not. When it comes to time to rise to the occasion, I can do it. The chat is definitely worth following. Thank you, Britt. Guys, check out some of the other channels. I got Pale Rider TV, Daniel Adami. Check out Thor and Thunder Trucking. He is another like trucking contractor that does videos. I think he and I are the only ones doing videos besides Jeff. Cascade Transport. He's getting ready to leave the great security blanket of like trucking and go on to his own numbers. And he and I have many discussions throughout the day, every day. He has become a good friend. Thor doesn't call me ever, but I think we're okay. If you decide you want to come over to Like Trucking, go to Safety at Like Trucking. And I try to be as hospitable as I can to the new guys and help them out. I need to work on my speed here. I'm a very sloppy player. I'm sure if Yukon is still in here, he's probably like, yeah, you're sloppy. You're kind of an idiot, Steve. Anyway. Let's see. Yo, Steve plays the lullaby. Freebird. Was there a Pale Rider Friday night? No, there wasn't. Pale Rider failed us with his Friday night live feed. Now, if someone could talk Pale Rider into going live tonight, it's only 8:30 Central. Daniel, text Pale Rider and tell him if he wants to go live. I'll promote it right here before he goes live. Jeff is on vacation. Jeff took a break. You know, we got one guy doing carrier packets, and you got me taking the other calls. Good night, Nomadic Brit. I appreciate your positive, kind comments. And I will subscribe to your channel as soon as we get off here. Thanks to Daniel Adami for putting up a link. Cascade is going to do really good. He's a smart dude. You know, sometimes you talk to a driver that enters the spot market. Like, I got a friend of mine get ready to enter spot market. He's the Schneider guy. It's a secret for now. And the carrier's going to give him access to all load boards. Now he's sending me all them shots. Like, oh, look at this, and this is how I'm going to run. I'm going to do this and this. He's very gung-ho. He's going to do very well. It's about being smart. It's about learning from your mistakes. And when BS happens, and it will happen, it's just how you react to that, you know? That's it. That's how how do you react? The political climate. Not much you can do about it. How do you react to it? Your truck breaks down. Not much you can do about it. How do you react to it? Play a bad chord. Not much you can do about it. How do you react to it? You learn, right? Anyways, I believe we're done. We've been at this for over an hour. And I'm sure you ADHD people, that's about all you can muster. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching. This has been a good live feed, I think. I'm kind of biased though. So if you would, I'll give you a minute to put the thumbs up. Let's get this video out there. We're at 14 now. Let's get this sucker up to 24. I haven't even been paying attention to how many people have been in this live feed. Because, I do this for you. I don't do it for the glory. I don't do it like, oh man, I've only got 100 people in here. This sucks. I'm not that guy. So if I got 5 people in here, if I got 55 people in here, I had fun talking trucks, playing a little bit of guitar, poorly for you, and and having a beer, hanging out. So with that being said, I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the thumbs up. Spread the word. Spread the word. And have a good evening. God bless.